Ever since the cast release for Kimi ni Madoi Kimi ni Oborere, I honestly don't think I've been the same anymore. In my previous video, I talked about how the art alone completely pulled me into the game. I went from not being interested at all to suddenly getting really hype about it. And after the announcement during the Desert the Otome event, the devs have been giving us so much new information, from character introductions to details about the gameplay system, and oh my gosh, everything looks so good. So in today's video, we're going to go through all of that together, talk about the new updates, and yes, hype about it. Heart Love Excel, romance meets Nihongo. Before that, if you love visual novel, story-rich, or otome games, or if you want to learn Japanese with otome games and experience some heart-fluffy romance, I suggest you to subscribe to this channel because you are in the right place. Okay, let's start with the overall premise of this game. If you didn't know, Kimi ni Madoi is an otome game set in an ABO universe. In this world, people have a secondary gender, alpha, beta, or omega, alongside their biological sex. The protagonist Sayo has lived her entire life without a secondary gender, but one day she suddenly learns that she is actually an omega. The problem is that in this world, omegas who don't find a mate before the age of 25 will die, and the only way to escape that fate is to mate with an alpha. With only 2 years left, Sayo decides to dedicate that time to finding a mate. At the same time, she returns to her hometown after 5 years and reunites with her childhood friends, who might help her find her true love, but also awaken an uncontrollable instinct within her. So far, the premise actually intrigues me. I'm really curious to see how the story will unfold and what Sayo's journey will look like. Even though I've read a bit of Strike Omega First before, I don't think I've ever come across a setup where omegas actually die if they don't find a mate. Usually there's something like a destiny mate situation, at least from what I remember. But honestly, I don't have that much experience with the genre, so I'm really hoping the relationships in this game will develop not only because of hate or instincts alone, but also through deeper emotional growth. I'm really excited to see how the relationships will build over time, and since the assistant director is Ninomae, I do have pretty high hopes. Thankfully, the official website also gives us a basic overview of the world building. They explains what alphas, betas, and omegas are, as well as something called heat, which is a special phenomenon that only occurs in omegas. And honestly, that sounds like a pretty troublesome situation for them, I must say. Thankfully, there are medications called inhibitors that can suppress it in urgent situations, and research is still ongoing to find a way for omegas to survive without needing a mate. And with that world setup in mind, let's finally move on to the part I've been most excited to talk about, the characters. First, we have our protagonist, Tsuyuki Sayo, and just look at her. I already love her design. She's so cute. She has this calm, innocent look that makes you feel like she's the type of person people would naturally want to protect. And this outfit, that skirt, is honestly such a must-have for summer. I just love how frilly it looks. She's also 23 years old, which honestly makes me really happy because we rarely get an MC in her 20s in otome games, so I'm really glad we're getting another one like this. Another thing that's really interesting is that the game actually shows us 2 versions of the characters, the present designs and how they look 5 years ago during their high school days, which means yes, we'll probably get to see some past stories from their school days, and that honestly excites me a lot, but we'll talk more about that later. For now, let's take a look at Sayo's high school version. Look at that. She looks adorable. The long hair gives her such a different vibe compared to her present design. Her current look feels more mature, but she's still just as pretty. Honestly, I'm already really excited to experience the story while playing as her. And now that we've met our protagonist, let's move on to our first love interest, Natsume Hinagi. Hinagi runs a handyman business that he inherited from his grandfather, and according to his profile, he is cheerful, energetic, and basically the mood maker of the group. And yeah, I think that's pretty obvious just from his design. He really feels like the type of person who will light up the entire room the moment he walks in. He just looks so lively and friendly, like someone who's always smiling all the time. The art is just so good because you can honestly get a sense of his personality just from his expression alone. He's also one of the cover characters, so I'm really curious to see how his route is going to turn out. And he's an alpha as well as the same age as Sayo. Let's take a look at how he looked 5 years ago. Wow, he's actually really handsome here too. You can definitely tell he looks younger here. But what I really like is how much attention the artist paid to the small details, because even though both versions still keep that same cheerful and bright vibe, his present design still feels noticeably more mature. I honestly don't know how the artist managed to pull that off, but they really did such a great job capturing that difference. Now, let's look at his signature line. Wa, majika, mecha otona ni natteru jan. Which basically means, wow, seriously, you've really grown up. Oh, that pretty much confirms that he is one of Sayo's old school friends. Interesting. I'm really curious about what the relationship was like back then. Now that we've taken a look at Hinagi, let's move on to another interesting character in the story. Next, we have Seo Kanata. He works as an employee at a matching facility called Rufore, which helps alphas and omegas who are struggling to find a partner. From what I understand, this place basically helps them to solve their problems and find their mate. And according to his profile, he is kind, caring, and the one who keeps everyone organized. And honestly, I really like kind characters like this. I mean, just look at his smile. Oh my gosh, that smile could immediately captivate anyone. And that definitely includes me. It really gives off such a warm and caring vibe. And gosh, isn't he handsome? He really is. He's also the same age as Sayo and another alpha. Now, let's see how he looked 5 years ago. Oh my gosh, Megane! Wait, he actually looks even better with glasses though. This version really gives me strong senpai energy, like the kind of student who will totally be the student council president. Aw, I really hope we get to see him wear glasses again in the present timeline, because it suits him so well. And now, let's take a look at his signature line. そのために俺がいるんだし、困ったらいつでも相談してくれていいからね. Which basically means, that's why I'm here. If you ever have any problems, you can always talk to me. Aw, that's really sweet. He sounds so kind and supportive. But at the same time, characters who are too kind in otome games sometimes end up having hidden sides or even a bit of obsessiveness. So now, I'm actually really curious. Is he genuinely just a kind and caring person? Or is there something more beneath that calm smile? We shall see. Next, we have what I would probably call the most charming love interest so far. And honestly, just from one glance, I feel like we can already tell what type of character he is. Yup, the flirty one, the playboy type. You can just feel it from his vibe already. And you guys know me. Characters like this, I don't know why, but they somehow always manage to steal my heart, even though I would absolutely avoid this type in real life. But in otome games, oh, I love it. There's just something so satisfying about seeing a guy who used to flirt with everyone suddenly fall completely head over heels for the heroine. That's always one of my favorite trips to watch. This love interest is Kusakabe Kyoya. He is the cafe master of Ra Premadi, and according to his profile, he is friendly and treats people of all ages, men and women alike, in a very amiable way. And apparently, he is especially gentle toward women. But yeah, I think we can already imagine what kind of character he's going to be. He's also 29 years old, which I really like. I love the older guy vibe. He definitely feels more mature and manly compared to the others, and you can see that clearly in his design. And of course, he's another alpha, which means so far we have 3 alphas among the love interests. That's actually interesting because, according to the world building, betas make up about 70% of the population, while alphas are only around 25%. So honestly, Sayo has quite a lot of alpha options here. Good for her. Especially since in this world, becoming mates usually involves the alpha biting the omega snake. Though apparently, it's not always guaranteed to form a bond, so I'm really curious to see where the story will take that concept. And judging from his personality, I'm a little scared of what his flirting is going to be like. Now, let's look at his signature line. 今日来てくれたのはお客さんとして、それとも僕に会いたくなって。Which basically means, did you come today as a customer? Or because you wanted to see me? Oh my gosh, the confidence! I hate it. But also, yes, I mean, with a face like that, I would probably go to that cafe just to see him too. Okay, now that we're done talking about Kyoya, let's move on to the next ally. And oh boy, this one is going to be interesting and also might be a bit controversial at the same time. And that is the stepbrother Tsuyuki Ritsu, the one who isn't honest with his feelings. So yes, he is a tsundere, you guys. And if you know me, you know I'm a huge fan of tsundere. So I'm actually really excited for this one. He's a third-year university student and he's 21 years old. So he's actually younger than our MC. Interesting. Personality-wise, he's described as unsociable and foul-mouthed, but surprisingly kind to the people he trusts. That's literally the best feature of a tsundere, you know? I can already imagine how cute their interactions are going to be. I can totally see myself squealing while playing his truth. And he's also one of the cover characters, but the reason I have high hopes for him is because his secondary gender is beta. And you guys know that in order for our MC to survive, she needs an alpha, right? So in his truth, how is their relationship going to work if he's a beta? I honestly have no idea. I really can imagine how they're going to solve that. Maybe the research center will come up with something, but still, I'm really curious about how the story will handle it and what kind of emotional roller coaster we're going to get in his truth. I'm excited though. Drop your theories down below, you guys. But not too much, okay? Control yourself. Because I'm also a little scared that your predictions might actually end up being correct in the game. I've had that experience before and it kind of ruined the surprise. So yeah, let's try not to spoil it for ourselves. Alright, now let's take a look at how he looked 5 years ago. Oh my gosh, that spiky hair. Looking at this version of him, it's really obvious that he looks younger than our MC. But in his present appearance, he looks way more manly and handsome. I actually love how clear the difference is between the two versions. But you would think that's the end, right? Nope, we also get to see what he looked like as a kid. And he's just so cute. I can't, Even just from that look, you can already guess that he never really expressed his true feelings, even when he was a child. I mean, just look at that face. That grumpy expression, it really gives up the vibe of, leave me alone and stop bothering me. So stubborn. And his signature line is, Nani? Wazai kara jiro-jiro minna? Which basically means, what? Stop staring at me. It's annoying. Oh, that sounds scary. So rude. But it's okay. I know eventually you're going to reveal your blushy and cute side later on. Okay, and the last ally is Yamashina Akira. He's a researcher, 25 years old, and he works for Nobus, the organization that conducts research on secondary gender. Apparently, he always goes at his own pace, and because of that, he's often treated as a weirdo by the people around him. So maybe he's the type who daydreams a lot or say unusual things out of nowhere? I'm not completely sure yet, but from the description, I kind of get a feeling that his personality might be similar to Kanata from Glass Heart Princess. And if that's the case, oh boy. Because Kanata is honestly one of the most unique allies I've ever seen in my life. And he also kind of looks like a weirdo, in the best way possible. So I don't know if I'm ready for another super unique ally like that. Another interesting thing is that he's the only ally so far where they didn't show us what he looked like 5 years ago. But I did find something interesting on their official Twitter. It looks like we might also get a childhood story with him, back when the MC was still a kid. They didn't actually say the name of the boy in that picture, but honestly, I think it's pretty obvious that it's Akira. But then, that raises another question. What kind of story did we have with him in the past? And the even bigger question is that his secondary gender is question mark, question mark, question mark. So of course this sparks a lot of theories. If it turns out to be alpha, I feel like that would be a little bit, too mainstream. So my guess is maybe he could also be an omega? And if that's the case, that will raise even more questions about how their story is going to work. Yeah, sorry, I have a lot of questions. But that's because I don't think I've ever seen a love story between two omegas before. I also kind of feel like Akira might be the wild card of this game. I'm not really sure though. We'll just have to see when the game is released, but I have to say, it definitely intrigues me. His signature line is Hajimemashite, Kimi namae nandakke? Which basically means, nice to meet you. Wait, what was your name again? Oh, so I think that might actually be how they first meet in the game. And we also have some side characters here. There's another employee from Nobu's, and oh my gosh, she looks so pretty. And of course, we have our cute, sassy, fluffy cat that we raise, Oyakata. And I swear, I think Ritsu has a soft spot for this cat because from the special edition package, we can see that Ritsu is trying to pet him, but the cat is basically like, nah, don't touch me, human. So yeah, I'm really excited to see their interactions. Alright, now that we've talked about all the characters, let's move on to the game systems. And honestly, when I found out about this part, I got even more hype because guys, it actually looks really amazing. So first, the basic systems are pretty much what you would expect from a typical otome game. We'll be able to view things like event CGs, BGM, videos, glossaries, epilogues, and bonus voices. And can we talk about the UI for a second? Are you kidding me? It gives such strong summer beach vibes and I absolutely love it. It looks so refreshing. And there are also epilogues. Oh my gosh, yes! I love when games includes epilogues because I always want to see what happens after the ending. Like, give me the after story, please. There's also a section called Questions for Him. This is a bonus voice feature that lets us get to know the characters more deeply. After clearing each character's ending, we'll be able to view it from the gallery screen. And I love this feature because I think Olympia Sorbet and Winter Switch also had something similar. I remember enjoying those sections a lot because we could discover more about the characters' inner thoughts and real feelings. So yeah, this is definitely a really nice feature to have. But okay, now let's talk about the special system. Because this is the one that actually made me gasp when I discovered it. So apparently, in this game, the MC's path changes depending on which character's route you choose. And when I read that, I was like, huh? That's crazy! I love that! Because it means the story won't feel repetitive or monotonous. Every route could reveal a different part of the MC's past, so we can always look forward to something new. And it will be much harder to predict what's going to happen, which honestly sounds really exciting. So the way it works is, first we select the ally route and then we start the game. During the common route, we'll interact with all the characters as usual, but there will also be individual events with the ally we selected at the beginning. Then once the common route is completed, the story moves into the individual route. And that's where we'll start learning about the shared paths between the MC and the ally we chose. I really love it when games do something like this. It shows that the devs are really trying to build deeper storytelling, and I personally really enjoy in-depth storytelling because it helps us understand the characters better, their past, their motivations, and the reasons behind their actions. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing how they handle that in this game. Another thing that I'm really glad about is that they're giving us an in-game messaging app called Less. This messaging app appears throughout the story, and through it, we'll be able to see interactions with the characters. Isn't that incredible? I always enjoy it when games includes features like this because it makes the whole experience feel more immersive and engaging. Some games that also have this kind of feature are Storm Lover Kai and Thesis of Love, the upcoming otome game. And honestly, I really enjoy seeing the characters interact through test messages. It's such a fun feature to have because through this, we can also get to see their different sides through testing, you know? And the last piece of information they shared is that they will reveal the promo CGs on March 11. And by the time I upload this video, they might already be out. I am so excited. I've been waiting for this. They already teased a small glimpse of how they might look, and I just know they're going to be amazing. I mean, just look at this. I can already tell that some of the stages are going to be pretty hot. And that's it for my yapping hype video about this game. Tell me down below which ally caught your attention the most and why. I really wanna know. If you don't want to miss more otome news, including this game and other titles from the recent Desert the Otome fan, you can check out this video right here. That's all for today's video. Thank you so much for spending your time with me, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye!